Hi there, Joka here from A Pocket Full of Happiness, and I would like to show you the new products that are available in the shop today. There are some stamps, there are some dies, and there are some stencils in this release. So let's start with these stamps. There are some large stamp sets. These are similar to the 6x8 stamp sets in the US. So the first one is called Geometric Pattern Builder. You have a big stamp set that you can just use on its own to create a background, or there's also a smaller stamp set in this or stamp in this set that you can fill in inside the this pattern. Like I did here, I stamped the background in a light blue, and then I added the shapes in various colors. Here on this one, I just embossed the large stamp set with white embossing powder, so you can create very simple backgrounds with it. Here I embossed it in gold glitter embossing powder, not folder, and then I filled in those shapes with shades of pink. So yeah, you can create a variety of things with this. Now the next one is called Hexagon Pattern Builder, and it might be a familiar concept. It's like all the other pattern builders that I have. There's 3 stamps in this set, and if you layer them, then you can create a hexagon pattern panel, or you can of course use just one and then build a fun triangle pattern background. Now I forgot to show you on the other set that on the back you see some inspiration, which I also used for my own cards. There's always, on the stamp sets, there is always some digital artwork like this to get you going. These are the hexagon shapes, as you can see, and then you can use 3 different colors. Here I just showed a monochromatic example. I'm only created this one card with it. Unfortunately, I just didn't have the time. I hope I'm gonna be able to sometime soon. You can see I used 3 colors here to create a masculine card. The next one is a smaller set. There's 2 small sets in this release. This is like the 4x6 size. In Europe, this is the A6 size, and this first one is called From My Heart, and there are a bunch of sentiments. They are all about missing someone, friends, friendships, and things like that. You can see on the back what every stamp looks like. I have a couple of samples with this, though not many. Here I used one of these and I embossed it in white. I actually double embossed it to create more of a textured embossing. I really like that look. And then I have this one here that I just stamped in navy ink. Simple and quick. Now the next one is also the same size stamp set, and this one is a little bit special. I will show you in a second why. There is a bunch of sentiments in a script font, and then there's a big friend sentiment and a small heart balloon. that, you know, you can just add this a little flourish or embellishment. Now this is the first time I did coordinating dies, and I'm quite excited about it. I like having coordinating dies with sentiments, especially like these that you know, with the script font, it's not easy to create sentiment strips. And I also added this rectangle, this stitched rectangle shape that you can use with the friend sentiment there. A few samples with this. I actually use these on a lot of my projects. So you are my favorite, thank you, love you, and I'll show you a bunch more. I actually did not remove the stems from the backing sheet, but I stamped them as, you know, as they are, and I created a bunch of different colors, embossed ones, stamped ones, just so that I have a lot in my stash. Whenever I need something, I just grab it and go. So these ones are embossed sentiments. This is the friend one in the rectangle. Yeah, so I'm quite excited about that one. Now the next one, actually let's do the stencils first. There's 2 new stencils. Both of these have 4 layers. And if you turn around the packaging, you can see every single layer separately, what they look like. These 2, for example, you could use for other things, like the first one for birthday cards, and this one for snow or just polka dot background. Or if you layer them together, you get this floral pattern. It's called the Dainty Leaves, actually. And I only have this one sample with it, but you will see some other ones in the shop. My friend Martina created a bunch of cards, quite a few cards with all the products, so you will see more samples. Now this one is called New Year's Resolution, and you can create this cool pixelated design. So you can use 4 colors, or you can just use a single layer separately if you like. I do have one sample, or actually 2, I believe. Here I used 3 colors, plus I used a gel paste that I then covered in gold. I think the product is Nouveau Gold, Gilded Flakes or something like that. And I have a simple one. This I had left from a project that I did for my son's new room. These are the colors of his room, and I wanted to create something. I'm still not finished with it, but this one I will show you. It's actually, I put it in a frame. It's just a simple background, and I just added some enamel dots and this Hey There die, which is also a previous die. And you will see that for this large size, I had to use the stencil 4 times to cover this large surface. It was actually bigger, but I had to trim it down to fit in that frame. Okay, so that's for this new stencil. I hope you like it. I think it's my favorite stencil so far. Now moving on to the dies. So this first one is called Dragonfly, and there are a bunch of dies in it with which you can create 3 different size dragonflies, and you can see that for every body you have 2 layers. With that little hole in the middle, you can add some color, you know, just for fun. You can add the different color than the wings, for example. Some samples I made with this are these. Actually, I started these or wanted them to be monochromatic cards, but then you know me, I like colors too much, and so I added some colors, and I added a few layers of the wings that you know I used for the filling elements, and I didn't want to waste them, so I just added extra layers. And here are some other ones on all these cards. And here I added some enamel dots for the head. And by the way, these 4 cards will be part of an auction at the Ukraine card drive on Instagram. So if you want to bid on these, you would support a great cause to various charities in the Ukraine to help Ukrainian people in this terrible time. Yeah, that's happening right now. I'm not sure when it's going to be up because the ladies have a bit of a technical difficulty, but I hope soon. So check their feed. There's other really nice cards from other talented ladies, so you can check them out and bid if you like. Next one is, this might look familiar. I already had the same or similar script, thank you, and now I added 2 more to the collection. This one is love you, and it has the sentiment itself and then a shadow die with it. I already showed you this card. Actually, I created most of my cards with many different new products. Here I layered the love you with I think in 4 different colors, and then offset them a little bit to just for some fun effect. And this one is another one. I also created a kind of like a chipboard element with different layers, and a vellum piece for the shadow. Now this next one is a cover plate called Crisscross Background. You know me, you know that I like to add a bunch of different colors. I like those kind of dyes that make that possible. And I do love inlay techniques, so I will always have dyes like this. This is one example what you can do with it. Or you can obviously create all kinds of patterns in it. I only did this one, I think, where I used 4 different colors to fill in the shapes. This actually goes a lot faster if you use a double-sided adhesive on the back of the card, not the die cut. Then you can just easily and quickly fill in the shapes. And the next one here is called Fly Away With Me 2. This might also look familiar. These are the little siblings of the big, the original Fly Away With Me set. And I created some cards to show you the difference between the sizes. So those 2 are the original die set. And you can see that these are smaller. Here I have the biggest one, and then these small ones are the new set. I felt like, because the original set only had 2 dies, I wanted to have the option to have an uneven number, or odd number, sorry. And here you see the new stamp set in the background as well. On this card, I used only the new set, so you will see only the smallest butterflies with inlay technique, and here the largest one, and then all the new sizes, again with inlay technique. You will see here that for the smallest size, there's 2 different top layers, just so that you can have some variety in that. Now the next one is called Best Mom. I always like to have sentiment dies. It's easy to use, it's quick, and you know, this is one of those that I think it's a good basic to have for your mom whenever you want to create a card. The next one is another one that looks familiar. I use the same size as on the hey there, thank you dies, and hello as well. Now I'm adding friend. Friends are super important to me, so I thought this would be a good addition. And obviously, because this is the same kind of font and the same size, you can use it together with the other existing dies already. And these were 2 samples. And I have a sample from Martina because I love these cards, so she sent it to me. She also used friend here, and she embossed the letters. And the next one is another collaboration with my friend Paige. And these are 2 dies that work together. So one of them is a stitched background quilt design, and the other one you can use as a top layer. Obviously, you can use both of them on their own. It's fun. One you can use as a texture, or the other one you can fill with different colors, or you can use the 2 together. I have samples of each. Here you see the stitched texture in the background, and then I glued on the other die cut on top, and I filled in the shapes with all these colorful pieces. And then here again, same idea, but I used the other shapes, these diamond, or however you want to call these shapes. And on this one, I used the quilt background as a foiling plate, or you know, like a hot foil plate. So you will just see the gold lines there. So you can do this with your normal dies as well. You can foil with your normal dies just for some fun effects. And I have another card where I have a small piece that I used, again, I used the die as a hot plate, and this one was the stitched quilt background. And on these cards, I just wanted to add some texture so that the cards are not so boring. Yeah, so a lot of options with those ones as well. Now here's the other one that I mentioned, Scripty Congrats, because I thought this was again a good basic to have. There's so many occasions that you can use this for, obviously. Here's a simple example, just white layered die cut, and then I added vellum for the shadow, just to tone down the background a little bit. Now here it's the same concept as the previous Love You was. I just offset each layer a little bit so you have a peak of each color. The next one is called A Pocket Full of Posies. I wanted some floral die. You know that I love flowers. And I also love inlay techniques, so a good you know, a good mixture of the two. I only use them, or this dye, on these 3 cards. These 2 are basically the same, just a little bit of different color. And what I wanted to mention here, you know, I like to make my dyes in a way that I have an outline and I also have a solid piece, just so it's easy to layer those together and then do the inlay technique. But then that would have made this dye pretty expensive, and I wanted to make sure that everybody can afford this dye. And so I made this shape quite simple to fussy cut. So basically you just glue it on top of a piece of cardstock, and then you fussy cut it out, and then you can do the inlay technique if you like. Now this one might be my most favorite one in this release. I love retro patterns, and this reminds me of retro tiles, which is why the name is retro tiles. So many options, again, so many colors you can use. You can make it as colorful as you want or as simple as you want. I have examples with each option. Simple, like here, white on white, and then I just added colors with the enamel dots. Or the previous one had many colors, or here I created a striped background and then I just added a white die cut on top, but it's still very colorful. However, it's very simple because you didn't have to do any inlay technique. And then here is Martina's card that I already showed you. And what I loved about this is that it looks so retro with these colors. It's just really, really awesome. So, yeah, this die I also tried as a hot foil plate. This is how it worked out. I messed up some part of it, so this is why I actually trimmed it down, but I did not want to throw it away because it looked so pretty, so I just used that part of it. Now the last one is called Best Dad. You know, if I have Best Mom, I also should have Best Dad. This one you can use with 2 different colors. There's a shadow and then the shadow die and the sentiment. And I only have 1 sample with this here, and I only used 1 color, but you can get creative. And now I have the fun surprise that I mentioned on Instagram. This is my favorite product ever, you know that. I don't have my own brand enamel dots, but I found this recently. One of my wholesale customers designs these, and I was so happy. They have really cool colors, different than what you see often. And what I love, that it's 1 color in every pack, and there's a lot of them in a pack in 3 different sizes. You can see that I've already used these. Now I'm not going to have all the colors that are available right now because they did not have them in stock. I think 2 will be missing. These I actually ordered for myself a while back. This one is a really pretty, like a brick or terracotta color. I think one of the pink ones will be missing, but I don't quite remember. Then look at this. There's this sage kind of color. They are really pretty. They are very different. Some of these blues are also really special. That kind of periwinkle. Yeah, really nice. And look at this. If you've been following me, you know that I'm obsessed with navy, and navy enamel dots are so hard to find in a really good navy, and this is it. So I'm really excited. And then this mauve kind of color, and then there's some neutrals. There's also black, which I don't have, but I think I'm going to have it in the shop. So I'm hoping it arrives. It should have arrived today, the package, but unfortunately didn't. But check it out. It should be available soon. Thank you for watching. Happy shopping!